My ex-girlfriend took her own life in middle school and told me I was the reason why. I spent the rest of my life traumatized trying to heal, but now 8 years later, I just received a friend request from her. Posted by you/the_drunken_otter. In 8th grade, I, 21M, met this girl, North. She was in my band class, and the two of us hit it off. I asked her out on a movie date, and from there, we became boyfriend and girlfriend. She was my first girlfriend, and things were going alright, until her dad got a new job across the country in California. North moved away, but we decided to try long-distance dating through our freshman year. We were not built for long-distance dating. I couldn't protect her from bullies, hug her when she was crying, or tell her it was going to be alright when she told me about her depression. We got into arguments about God knows what but decided to keep the relationship going because her dad was trying to transfer back closer to our hometown. That was until she stopped texting me around Christmas, and her sister sent me a funeral program and asked me to come to California. North's sister told me that she had taken her own life because the bullying had become too much and that I wasn't there for her when she needed me. It broke my heart that I couldn't go to California for the funeral, and for the past 8 years, I've mourned her loss. I spent my entire high school career trying to rebuild myself from all the damage. I went to meetings for people who had lost family members and loved ones. I went to therapy for 4 years to help process the loss. I had to learn how to become dependable because I didn't want it to happen again. And after working on myself for 4 years, I asked out one of my classmates, Lucy. We started dating at the tail end of our senior year and are about to celebrate our 4-year anniversary in April. Last night, I got a notification from Facebook saying that I had a new friend request. I opened the app and found out that it was from North. She looks older, but there's no denying it, it's her. There are pictures of her as an adult with her fiancé and her newborn daughter. I spent 8 years of my life believing that she was dead, but here she is, with undeniable proof that she has been living a great life without me. My stomach is in knots, my heart is sinking to the ground, and my mind is racing, trying to figure out what happened and what I should do. Do I accept the friend request? Do I ignore it and try to move on? I feel completely lost, and it feels like my entire life has been a lie. I've spent the entire night looking at pictures of her and her family, floored that she would do this to me. Relevant comments. Commenter. That is wild, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you ever Googled her name in those 8 years, and did nothing about her ever come up? Did you follow her on any social media when you were together, and did all those accounts simply stop updating? Did those accounts have an in memoriam post or anything like that? Ops response. She's always been coming and going with social media. She'd make an account, stop posting for 6 months, then make a new one whenever she wanted to restart. I have tried Googling her, but she shares a name with a UCLA professor, so UCLA is the only thing that comes up after miles of scrolling. Commenter 2. So, I don't know if it's the healthiest option, but I would 100% want closure. Accept the friend request and send her a message saying how happy you are to see that she's alive since you were under the impression she had committed suicide. How thankful you are that it was a lie and that you're happy she's clearly in a better place. Do not accuse her of anything. If you feel inclined, let her know that her death led to you dedicating a part of your life to being the person you felt she needed at the time. Let her apologize if she does, don't feel inclined to accept it, and feel free to let her know that she caused a lot of hurt. I wouldn't engage beyond finding closure, and I 100% would block her after getting it. Ops response. I do want closure, but I don't want to chase it with how stirred up I am right now. I don't know if I'm happy that North is alive. Don't get me wrong, I don't wish death upon her, but I feel upset that she would do that. I dedicated a third of my life to her, and now that dedication feels like it's been ripped from underneath me. A part of me is happy that she's alive, but I'm also angry, devastated, and heartbroken that I wasn't the person she could simply talk to, that I was such a little crap that it was easier to fake her death than to break up with me. But so much has changed for me because of this. I'm happy with how my life is turning out, but so much of that came from wanting to do right by her memory. And now it's just, I don't know what it is, but I know it sucks. Update same day. Thank you to all who have responded. I want to get to each and every one of you, but for now, I hope this update will do. For now, I have decided to wait until Lucy gets home from work before I make any decision on whether or not to accept the friend request. I want to know what she thinks, and I can always depend on her to keep me level-headed. But until then, I just kinda want to sort out my feelings. I remember the day I found out about North's supposed death. It was a few days before Christmas, and the snow had just started to hit the ground. I remember walking to the edge of the neighborhood along Main Street. I sat on the sidewalk, watching the cars, thinking about how, if I walked onto the road, they wouldn't be able to stop. I was sitting there on the sidewalk, contemplating for what felt like hours. It was there that I decided I wanted to keep living. It was the most important choice of my life. But now that choice feels hollow. It feels meaningless. Every decision I've made since then has come from that choice I made 8 years ago, and now it feels empty and without promise. I'll keep you guys updated on what Lucy and I decide. Please don't think for a second that I plan to do anything drastic, I really don't, and I want to keep making that choice to live. But for now, I just need to figure out my meaning. Second update 2 days later. I accepted the friend request. After Lucy and I talked about it, we agreed that the possibility of getting some sort of closure would be worth it. So I accepted the friend request and sent out a text saying hello. About half an hour later, I received a notification that North had responded. We started talking a bit, discussing how our lives had been. Turns out, she and her fiancé were in town visiting family, and it made her think about all the hurt she had caused me. She said she wouldn't feel comfortable moving on with her relationship without knowing if I was okay. She tried to apologize, saying that we were dumb kids and that it seemed easier to ghost me instead of breaking up with me. She told me all about how, in some messed up teenage way, she thought that giving me an explanation for her ghosting me would make it easier for me to move on, so she and her sister concocted the whole story. I told her about the years of therapy, the years of loneliness, and how guilty I felt when I started dating again. I told her how I used to think she was the one for me, even through the nights of arguing, and that she had hurt me more than if she had just thrown me away. And I told her that, in some weird way, I'm thankful to her. Her death changed me for the better, and I would not be the man I am today if it weren't for her. I then texted, having said that, I will not accept your apology. It's a shallow attempt to free your guilty conscience before you get married. If you were really sorry, you would have said something sooner, you would have apologized sooner, or you wouldn't have done it at all. You took the coward's way out, and I do not forgive cowards. She said she understood but hoped that one day I could move past the hurt she caused me and find it in my heart to forgive her. I took screenshots of the whole conversation and sent them to her fiancé. I don't know if he knows the story between me and her, but now he has enough of an idea that they can start that conversation. I hope they figure out how to move past it. After all, they look very happy together, and the mistakes of a teenager shouldn't affect her current life. However, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me hoping it crashes and burns. I know this is not the update some of you wanted. Some of you really wanted me to bully my way through the conversation or play mind games to mess with her. But that is not who I am, nor is it who I want to be. On the bright side, I can now truly move on from the relationship that cost me 8 years of my life and put the whole story of North behind me. Thank you to everyone who helped me find the courage to face this head on. Thank you to everyone who sent kind words, and thank you to the guy who DM'd me the number for the sewer slide hotline. I won't need it for the foreseeable future, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Notable comments. Commenter. All of that seems just so unnecessary. I want to break up with him, but I'm a coward, so I don't want to tell him directly. So, I'm just gonna ghost him because that's easier than breaking up with him. But I want it to be easier for him to move on, so I'll have my sister create a funeral brochure and make up a lie about me killing myself. But we're also going to blame him for not being there to protect me, so much for sparing his feelings, I guess. I'm also going to invite him to my non-existent funeral, and phew, thank God he didn't try to come at all, that would have been really awkward. Commenter 2. There is 0% chance that the intent was to make it easier for him to let her go. It was to hurt him because she was mad at him. She was mad that he could not be physically present. That's why her sister said she killed herself, because he couldn't be there for her. Her coming forward and apologizing was an act of self-preservation. She was visiting her hometown with her fiancé, and if they ran into each other, it would cause quite a scene. She needed to make sure she smoothed things over before that could happen. She is a malignant soul.